So what's up, guys? It's your boy, not Satan, your 89th favorite Korean immersion learning YouTuber, and I'm back with my 11-month update. It's crazy, man. 11 months. That's almost a year. So let's go into the stats. So this month, which is my 11th month. Oh, that's right. I'm trying out the new format for the video, so I hope you guys like it. I think it's there's not gonna be much to watch, but you know what, it's gonna be easier for me to make the video, so you know what, just watch it, right? So this is my 11th month. So in terms of active, this month I did 95 total hours this month. Reading 53 hours. I made 718 Anki cards. 31 hours spent on Anki, so that includes reviewing and making the cards. 86 hours of passive, 0 hours for grammar, and that brings my total contact hours to 265 this month. So as you can see from the graph on the screen, yeah, I went crazy this month. So I think I have like 50 extra hours from passive, and then I have like 40 extra hours from reading. So compared to the last 2 months, I have an extra 100 contact hours for this month. So yeah, I'm going to talk about why is that for the rest of the video, but I think this is probably the craziest month I've ever gone through. So I might have to review the stats real quick, but yeah, I think it's a pretty decent month in terms of stats. Quite happy with that. So starting with the SRS and specifically, so I'm feeling the Anki reviews, man. Like the 25 new cards a day finally caught up to me. So I mean, last time I had like only I think like 2 months ago I was like at 70 to 90 reviews a day. But now it's like 130, 140, but I mean, it's not too bad. Because personally, I'm kind of used to the whole Anki thing. Like, I've done Anki for like 400 days already. I've used it for 400 days already. So, I think it's not too bad. But what's really the problem, because that only takes me like 15-20 minutes anyways, right? But what's really the hassle is now, finding cards to make. So because I'm like, there's like only 3 people left in the world using Morphman, right? So I'm one of them. It's a bit of a hassle to make new cards if I don't keep pumping in new material, right? So I think if I don't put in new SRS cards or new sentence cards every week, then there's just less material to work with, and so I end up deleting a lot of cards, right? So I might delete anywhere from like 1,000 to 2,000 rubbish cards a week, which shows how much time I actually spend deleting cards rather than making them. But I think I guess it's kind of like the only way I can do it, because I don't think I really have the capability to just make cards on the fly. I just never had the ability to notice that well, right? So I guess that's the only way I can make cards now, right? So I'm thinking about lowering this month. I've been thinking a lot about lowering my new card count, but the thing is, like I looked like the stats. I used the Anki simulator, right? So I'm only getting an extra maybe 10 to 15 minutes. So I don't think that's enough of a reason for me to like reduce my current card count, because I'm still kind of like learning stuff as I make the cards. So I don't know if that extra 10 to 15 minutes is going to be such a big difference. So I'll think about it. Like, if it starts taking me, I don't know, 1.5 hours total to do Anki, then I guess I'll lower my card count. But right now I'm flying it around slightly over an hour per day, which I think isn't too bad considering how much I read and how much active immersion I do. But yeah, if it gets like 1 hour and 30 minutes, then yeah, I'm definitely lowering the card count. So grammar, so officially I did 0 hours. So I didn't do any like specific grammar hours, but then sometimes I do a little grammar here and there. So maybe when I'm just walking from here to there, maybe I'll just open up a little bit of grammar to read. That's how to study Korean. Yeah, I'm starting from level 1 all over again. But I don't do it all the time. It's just like very, very occasionally. So most of my grammar is just still like my lookups during reading. When I'm watching stuff, if I notice something, I might look it up. Especially when I'm doing like my intensive reading, then that's a lot of lookups in terms of grammar. That's like 10 per web novel story. But yeah, I haven't done much grammar this month, but I'm okay with that. I don't think it has really cut down my understanding too much, right? So yeah, passive, as you can see, passive was crazy this month. I've almost have twice the amount of passive I did last month. So because I at first, I think at the beginning of the month, I tried to get into dramas, and I found it was a bit weird for me. So I used a lot of just random, those morning 30-minute drama episodes as my passive listening material. I think at first it was kind of beneficial, but then I think because I did a lot of, as you can see, I did a lot of passive, but then to be honest, I'm not gonna do so much passive anymore because I have to focus on actually studying, right? But I just think I just think it's just not really worth my time anymore, because if I'm just like chasing the passive numbers, I don't think it's so efficient that it's gonna give me that much gains, right? So of course I'll do it if I can, but I'm not gonna make it a priority anymore. And I'm still a young kid, right? I don't wanna lose my hearing in like 10 years time, right? So I just gotta I'm just not gonna go so crazy with the passive. So I think I did close to 100. I did 86 hours this month, right? So I'm not gonna do that anymore. That's just a bad idea. I'm only gonna do it when I absolutely have to, right? So yeah. So in terms of active, I started dramas again. So I think I watched some dramas here and there, but then I think like the past two months I didn't touch dramas. I think it's because I just wasn't that interested. But then so I decided to do a bit of research, and I found there was a few good ones, so I decided to watch them. So I'm doing like 1 episode, 2 episodes a day. I'm glad it's fairly comprehensible. Obviously I'm not because the current one I'm watching is called a poem a day or something like that. There's a lot of medical terms on it, but it's not too bad. Because it's mostly just just like a cheesy love story, right? But it's actually a decent one, because it definitely shows a lot of depth to a lot of characters, which is quite surprising for a Korean drama, right? Just so much depth to each character, so not just like the main character, like so much depth to all of them, which is very nice. But in general, I get the general gist of it, because it's still a love story anyways, right? So so then it's quite enjoyable too. I caught myself enjoying it, So yeah, that was fun. But I think I gotta make sure I still have to focus on my main target content, which is still the K-pop content anyways, right? Because that was my goal from the beginning, and it's still my main goal. So I have to make sure that my mindset is that the dramas are only a way to boost my understanding of the target domain, rather than the main domain at all, right? So I have to keep that in mind. But I'll still watch them anyways, because they're fun, right? They're a great way to spend your downtime. So dramas, yeah, definitely, that's great. So now reading, wow. So I think this was a huge month for me in terms of reading. So I did a lot of folktales last month, but that was only like less than an hour a day. So at some point I was like, okay, I think the gains I'm getting from folktales aren't as much as I want them to be. So I started reading some books, web novels again. So I think in the beginning of the month I read 2 short nonfiction books, native level books. Definitely very happy with how comprehensible they were. I didn't have to do that many lookups, but then, in retrospect, they weren't very difficult anyways, I guess. But they were still fun. They were still definitely, it's very, very motivational when you read native level content, especially books. But I think, you know what, I'm actually not too confident with reading, because I tried a fiction one, and it just wasn't, it just wasn't there. So I'm gonna do a bit more web novels first before I move on to books again. So I'm gonna try to finish. I think I want to finish a full web novel series, or the current one that I'm reading before I actually try books again. So I'll work on that. Yeah. So my current strategy now has just been, in the morning I do intensive reading, right? So some of these web novels, each chapter, sometimes it takes me like 15 to 20 minutes depending on how long it is, if I'm doing like intensive reading, right? Sorry, extensive reading. But if I'm doing intensive reading, which is in the morning, it could take me, 30 to 40 minutes, because I'm going like I'm searching up everything and making sure I know everything. But then, in the afternoon, I'll just do extensive reading. So I'll just read, I'll just read for fun, basically. But it's still the same web novel series, so that's fun. Yeah. And I think one of the biggest reasons why I have so many reading hours this month is because this is gonna be so dumb, but I've been reading webtoons in class, cause I mean, like, to be honest with you, like, I think class is pretty useless. Like, honestly, like, if anyone's going to college, honestly, like, class is pretty useless, like, because you're just gonna study outside of class anyways, right? So yeah, don't actually, like, don't take my advice, okay? I'm like a bad example. If I've been reading webtoons during class, because honestly, I mean, webtoons are fun. They're just a great way to get comprehensible input, get some extensive reading in. So I do count them in with my reading hours. So I know some people don't, but I count them as my reading hours. So that's why I've been having so much, so much success with my reading hours this month. So yeah, so some general thoughts moving forward. So I think this month I've been stat padding. I've been stat padding with the passive. So sorry for the background noise. No more stat padding with the passive. No more stat padding with passive at all. I'm gonna be fucking hell, Jesus Christ. I gotta prioritize reading, right? Reading is the way to go. So I've been slacking, honestly. I think, honestly, like, the past 10 months, I've been slacking with my reading. I don't think I've even been reading as much as I need to be. So I'm gonna be making sure that moving forward, for the next few months, I'll be going crazy with my reading. So I'm thinking, I think this is pretty ambitious of me, but I think 15 plus hours a week for reading is a good goal. But I mean, I'll definitely have to sacrifice a lot of stuff. I'll have to sacrifice some active immersion time, just to get that reading hours in. But I think in the long term, reading hours are gonna be what makes or breaks my Korean, right? So I just gotta get that reading in, and everything will take care of itself. Cause I know active immersion, like, personally for me, it's not difficult. Like, I can just sit down and I can just watch, right? It doesn't require any mental effort, so I can just sit down and watch. So I know as long as I get the reading hours in first, then I'll just be able to watch as much as I want, right? Yeah, and then I think moving forward, I'm not gonna be making a lot of videos, because I actually have a life outside of this whole language learning YouTube thing, right? So I gotta get my life together. I gotta get an internship. I gotta get a job. I just don't think I have that much time to make videos. I mean, it doesn't take that much time, but let's be honest. Like, if you're making a video, you're it's not. I mean, it's not quote unquote productive time, right? So I know I've like maybe I've like one stalker fan who's gonna be so disappointed. So to that person, I'm so sorry. Please don't stalk me. But anyways, yeah. So I think that's it. So I probably won't be uploading that much in the future, but I definitely will I'll keep the monthly updates going. But I do have one kind of big project in the works, so I think you guys will like it. But I don't think I'll be having that many frequent updates anymore. So I guess once per month, and then maybe one fun video during the month. But that'll be it. So well, because you know what, I'm a distraction anyways, right? You guys got to keep immersing. So kids, remember to like, share, subscribe, leave a comment, and as always, keep immersing.